There is literally so much that we have to talk about from today's episode of Monday Night Raw. Wow, did we see a lot happen on that show? What is good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Big Five Fuel channel, where we speak the truth, we're honest, and we give our takes on professional wrestling. It is Monday, June 8th, 2026, and this is the Monday Night Raw review from Paris, France. The last show of the European tour for the WWE. They will be doing London in 2 weeks for Raw and SmackDown, and then Saudi Arabia. But that's like a short trip, kind of. So this is, I consider, the last, the last show on the European tour, which began May 29th for the WWE with SmackDown. Um, and back to back weeks, Monday Night Raw had really good shows. I thought last week, I preferred last week's show, if I'm being honest with you guys. I thought last week was great. I thought last week was probably the best Raw of the entire year. Um, this show was really good too. This was a really good show. The crowd in France was absolutely on fire. And we saw a big upset in the main event, which nobody saw coming. And then the segment with Chad Gable and the Luchadors after the um, after the Rey Mysterio Penta match. I put it out on Twitter. I swear to God, man, that was the best segment that there's been on the main roster this year. It was literally better than anything on the main roster this year. And WWE, they have a rare opportunity with someone again, and they fumbled it time and time and time again. Here is somebody in Chad Gable who is white hot right now, and you literally cannot miss out on like an opportunity like this. And we'll talk more about that when we get to that segment. And of course, the ending of Monday Night Raw with Jevon Evans, and then we'll talk about this King of the Ring tournament, what direction the company could go in. But if you guys missed any content last week, we only did Monday Night Raw and SmackDown, so I will have the SmackDown review up in the last 20 seconds of the podcast here today. But of course, don't do that until you watch the entirety of today's Monday Night Raw review right here on the Big Five Fuel channel. So, Oba Femi kicked off Raw, and this Paris, France crowd, they were thunderous. They were ready to go the moment the first beat of Obafemi's theme hit. And they were shouting Oba's name, his entire entrance, even when he got on the microphone and he said he appreciates the applause, but there's business to take care of. And he is still shattered with Oba chants. He was mega over in Paris, maybe more than he was at Clash in Italy and last week, man. It was a sight to behold, truly. And he says he is going to run through every single member, every single participant in the King of the Ring tournament. And he said he is going to collect the King of the Ring crown as a trophy. And then another thing he is going to collect, I thought he was going to say the World Heavyweight Championship. He said he is going to collect Brock Lesnar's head. And he called Brock Lesnar a bitch. And the moment he started mentioning Brock Lesnar, I immediately got nervous because now the way things are going, like it's got to be clear path that this man has to win the King of the Ring tournament at this point. Like there was a report coming out that the two biggest challengers for Roman Reigns and the World Heavyweight title is Seth Rollins and Obafemi. Well, one of them is out of the King of the Ring tournament now, and it was the guy that I thought was going to win. So, like, if they're going to do, like, I will talk about this at the end, but man, the clearest path for Obafemi to win this tournament. They could go different ways. I would just prefer Obafemi to win the tournament. But Obafemi, he is getting ready to leave. And out comes Dirty Dominic Mysterio. Of course, Dominic won his first round matchup at the King of the Ring tournament on SmackDown Friday. And he is getting berated with boos. And he says, "You shouldn't be worrying about Brock Lesnar. You should be worrying about Dirty Dom, who's going to eliminate you in the King of the Ring tournament." And he called Obafemi a rookie. And Oba told him, "Why don't you come do something about it?" So JD McDonough's behind him. And he smacks Obafemi in the back with a steel chair. And Oba doesn't even flinch. And he punches JD in the face while JD's holding a steel chair. Dom jumps off the top rope. Obafemi catches him where they do the thing where Obafemi like has Dom up in the air and he throws him. And he goes for the fall from grace. And JD McDonough is able to pull Dom Mysterio out of the ring in time. And the crowd thunderously again chants for Obafemi. So it was made official that next week in the semifinals it will be Dominic Mysterio versus Obafemi. And I'll give my thoughts on that when we get to after the main event. We had the Queen of the Ring first round match. We had Alexa Bliss, Chelsea Green, Becky Lynch, and Liv Morgan. And I thought the match was fine. It was okay. I liked the Fatal 4-Way on SmackDown better. I thought that was the better match. But there was a moment where all the ladies were hitting their finishers. And Chelsea Green hits the unprettier on Becky Lynch. And that crowd was ready to explode. That crowd in Paris, France would have came unglued if Chelsea Green had won this match. So she goes for the pin, and Liv Morgan jumps over. She rolls her up Chelsea Green, and Liv Morgan is going to the semifinals of the Queen of the Ring tournament. And again, I think it's absolutely ridiculous that Liv Morgan is even in this tournament to begin with. It's taking a spot. Like, it's kind of bizarre how you have the Intercontinental Champion Sol Ruka in the tournament, but you don't have Tiffany Stratton. This spot could have gone to Tiffany Stratton. But Liv wins. I don't like it. We all know she's not going to win. Why don't you give the big moment to Chelsea Green? You could have given this win to Chelsea Green, or you could have given it to, I'm not the biggest fan of her, but you could have given it to Alexa, and we get Alexa versus potentially Charlotte in the semifinals. Because I don't think Charlotte is losing on SmackDown. I think she's going to win her Fatal 4-Way. So they go with Liv Morgan, and now 2/3 of the semifinals is the Judgment Day. I don't love that, if I'm being honest with you. I don't love that. Where we go backstage to Penta warming up for his match with Rey Mysterio. And who comes by but Chad Gable to a thunderous applause. He says, "Look, I know you got a big match to get ready for. I'm gonna keep this short and sweet with you." Last Friday, I flew over to Bologna, Italy, and I wanted to apologize to your brother for insulting lucha libre and the Mexican culture, and I wanted to do it again, straight to your face. And Penta forgave him, but he says, if you really want forgiveness, you know who to talk to. And he's signaling that he needs to go talk to Rey Mysterio. And he does the same thing with Rey before Rey is getting ready to challenge for the Intercontinental Championship. Chad Gable forgives him. I'm sorry. Rey Mysterio forgives him. And then he adds that there might be some people that you're going to have to apologize to. And that was before you put on the El Grande mask. And he is talking about Otis. So he's apologizing to Otis next. And I love this story. Man, I've got so much to say about this. He gets involved at the end of the Rey Mysterio Penta match. And then we get a advertisement that WWE is going to be holding a special edition of Sunday night's main event on Sunday, September 6th, live from Atlanta, Georgia. And this came after that Money in the Bank was supposed to be on September 6th, live from New Orleans. And for the third time since it got announced last year, this show got announced way in advance last year, August 29th. And then it got announced that it's going to take place September 6th in New Orleans. And then wait, they push it back a third time. Money in the Bank will take place Saturday, October 10th, live from New Orleans. And that's stupid, in my opinion. Why couldn't they just keep Money in the Bank on that Sunday and then have Saturday night's main event on October? Do we need another Sunday night's main event, whatever the fuck they're gonna call it? Because we already have a third Saturday night main event coming up, July 18th. It's from MSG. Why do we need another Saturday night main event? And plus, Money in the Bank, like, they're going to get killed viewership-wise because they're going to be going head-to-head. Like, October 10th, that is a bad... Like, the fall is a bad time for professional wrestling. It's just... No one's excited about professional wrestling come fall because you have college football starting up, you have NFL starting up, and you have the MLB postseason. So literally, the fall is probably one of the best times of year to be a sports fan. And Money in the Bank is one of the biggest prizes that WWE claims. So why would you want that show going head to head with all the college football and the MLB postseason and just put a Saturday night main event there? I don't know. I don't get the logic behind that, if I'm being honest with you guys, but it is what it is. So Sunday night's main event is taking place Sunday, September 6th, and Money in the Bank will take place Saturday, October 10th. And if I'm being honest with you, I'm probably not watching that show. I know that week, Georgia is playing Alabama in college football, and the MLB playoffs going on. If the Phillies are in the playoffs, I will not be watching Money in the Bank. I probably won't be watching it regardless. So, yeah, I just think it's bad scheduling, but whatever. Um, Lyra Valkyria versus Sol Ruka for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. You know, it's strange to me that Liv Morgan won the Women's World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania, and nobody, not one single woman on that Raw roster, has stepped up and challenged Liv Morgan for that title. And she's like carrying it as a prop at this point. It's embarrassing. Meanwhile, you have Sol Ruka, who just won the Women's Intercontinental Championship, and a week after, she's already got a challenger in Lyra Valkyria. It's so baffling the way they're booking Liv Morgan right now. Like the Women's World Heavyweight Champion is like it's pointless that she's in this Queen of the Ring tournament. Pointless. But that's besides the fact. Lyra Valkyria and Sol Ruka, they had a good match. I really liked the ending. It was clever. Lyra Valkyria getting stuck in the middle rope, her leg getting stuck in the middle rope, and that set up Sol Ruka hitting the Soul Snatcher onto Lyra Valkyria, and that's how Sol was able to retain the Women's Intercontinental Championship. So, very good match. It was good. Um, I just hope we don't do open challenges. Like, this stuff is fine. Advertise it, whatever. I'm so tired of WWE doing open challenges, and AEW too. I don't like when it's just so. I don't know. It's not exciting. It's really not. So, Sol retains, and it was a good match. LA Knight was in the ring. And again, he's talking about Roman Reigns and the bloodline. And he brung up being stuck in the bloodline vortex. But you've people got to understand something. And he said, like, the Usos. And he's talking about this. I'm not grasping this. I'm not invested in this. And the reasoning behind it, it doesn't make sense. Because the whole story that LNA is trying to tell is that Roman Reigns needs his family to help him keep that World Heavyweight Championship. Meanwhile, Bro beat CM Punk clean in the main event of WrestleMania. He beat Jacob Fatu at Backlash all by himself. And he beat Jacob Fatu at Clash in Italy all by himself. So I don't get the point of view where he's saying Roman Reigns needs help from all these family members. And, like, disappointed with the Usos. Like, I'm just not a fan of it. I'm just not a fan. So Jey Uso comes out and he's yeeting. Okay, first time in a couple months, so I will admit the yeet era with Jey Uso, it was stale at a certain point, but when it was hot, it was one of my favorite things in all of professional wrestling. So I enjoyed his entrance. But he takes a shot at LA Knight. He says, "You are a problem now because you are in the King of the Ring tournament. And you come for me and you come for my family. I'm going to give you a warning shot." And that he's winning this King of the Ring tournament and he's winning Friday on SmackDown. And it's just whatever, man. I'm having a hard time getting excited for this, getting invested in this. And I just feel like it's not going to end well for LA Knight. So, Let's move on. Let's move on to actually something exciting. Rey Mysterio challenging Penta for the Intercontinental Championship. And while I was more of a fan of the aftermath instead of the match was great. The match was really great, as you would expect it to be. And Penta retained the Intercontinental Championship, as you would expect it to be. They had a great match. And they embraced, Penta and Rey did. And, Rey hit multiple 619s and he even hit the splash one point. Penta got his feet up. Mexican Destroyer, They had a great match. Probably the best match on the show. And they're embracing each other. And they get attacked by Ethan Page and Rusev. And these guys are getting booed out of the building, I tell you. Booed out of the building by this Paris, France crowd. And after a while, Dragon Lee comes out. Dragon Lee's getting some moves in there, but even he gets taken out. And then they go in the ring, and Rusev rips off the mask of Rey Mysterio. He rips his mask, he's holding it up proudly, and then who comes out to his American Alpha theme but Chad Gable. Yes, we are turning back the clock. The 2016 American Alpha theme for Chad Gable, it is back. This crowd went wild for Chad Gable. And he comes out and he gives Ethan Page a German suplex. And he gives Rusev a German suplex. He gives Ethan Page another German suplex. He throws Rusev out of the ring. He puts Ethan Page in the ankle lock. Rusev pulls Ethan Page out of the ring. And Gable looks. And what's sitting in the ring but Rey Mysterio's mask? And Gable looks at the mask. He looks at Penta, Dragon Lee, and Rey Mysterio. And he gives the mask back to Rey Mysterio. While Penta and Dragon Lee are holding a towel over his head. Gable gives back the mask because he knows what it's like to lose a mask. Because he respects the lucha libre and the Mexican culture. Oh my, they give him the thumbs up of approval. Oh my gosh. The main roster, WWE, the product has not been good in 2026. It's been very shitty. And it's been very forgettable too. And after tonight, we can look back and say, hey, one of the most memorable segments of the entire year will be this segment right here. With Chad Gable giving back the mask of Rey Mysterio. This was beautiful. This was a beautiful segment. He's flexing to the crowd. This crowd, yeah, I really hope, and I think it will, I really hope it translates to the American audience. We will find out whether or not he's on SmackDown this week, or if he's on Raw next week in Baltimore. We will know. I believe it will. But man, WWE has a tendency where someone is white hot and the crowd wants a certain person. They want Chad Gable. They tend not to push the guy that is white hot. It happened with LA Knight. It happened with Rusev back in 2018. I'm trying to think of people in the Triple H era. Jey Uso at certain points. And then they did push Jey Uso. He came to be the world champion. And it was very underwhelming. The biggest example I can give you is LA Knight. LA Knight, white hot, never capitalized on it. Chad Gable. This is probably as over as he's ever going to be in his career. And he's not getting younger. He came into WWE in a tag team with Jason Jordan. He was 30 years old. This guy's 40 right now. And he's probably one of the best wrestlers in the entire company. He's one of the best wrestlers in the WWE. They have to strike right now. Right now, WWE has to capitalize on this momentum that Chad Gable has. They have fumbled a lot of things in 2026. There's been a lot of bad storylines. There's been a lot of bad shows. You cannot fuck this up. You cannot fuck this up. You have to capitalize on the momentum and how over Chad Gable is. I don't know what his plans are going to be. A lot of people want to see him win the Intercontinental Championship at SummerSlam. You know, if they're really serious about pushing Chad Gable, I listen. I know it's not going to happen. They're not going to do this. But on Friday, I would do an injury angle with either Jey Uso or like Finn Balor, whoever. I'm going to say I would do an injury angle with Jey Uso where he gets taken out backstage at SmackDown. And they are scrambling the entire night for someone to take his place. And Chad Gable steps in and he's like, I can do it. I can be in this match. And Chad Gable wins the 4-way on SmackDown. He goes on to beat Jevon Evans. And then they can do some fuckery where Obafemi loses to Dominic by like count out or something like that because of Brock Lesnar. You can't have Obafemi take a pinfall loss to Dominic Mysterio. Not happening. And then you have that Lucha Libre tie because Dominic is the AAA Mega Champion. Chad Gable just lost his mask. Chad Gable can beat Dominic and win this King of the Ring tournament. It's not going to happen. I know it's not. I'm just saying. If they're serious on pushing Chad Gable, and I really hope they are, you know, I know it's not going to happen, but how awesome would that be? And then he can go on to SummerSlam, and he could challenge Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship in his hometown of Minneapolis, Minnesota, at US Bank Stadium. That would be tremendous. But that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. And then we had the main event. The main event was the first round of the men's King of the Ring tournament. We had Seth Rollins, Ricky Saints, Talatonga, and Jevon Evans. And I thought this match was very good. I would actually consider it really good. And no, believe it or not, Talatonga did not make the match worse. He did not. He did his job. the story early on was these three guys trying to take out this big giant, and they just couldn't do it. And then they were able to do it. Seth Rollins took him out with a curb stomp on the announce table after Tower choke slammed Ricky Saints, and then um and then he gave him a big stomp, did Seth Rollins. So a stomp on the announce table, and then a stomp on the outside off the top of the barricade. So that took out Talatonga for the match. Jevon would then go on the top rope. Seth Rollins caught him in his midsection, and he would go for the pedigree. And Jevon, he did his bounce off the top of the rope into a Hurricane Rana, but Rollins caught him. Rollins caught Jevon Evans, and he goes for the buckle bomb, but Jevon Evans was able to hit the Hurricane Rana onto Seth Rollins. And Jevon would try to attempt a suicide dive, and Ricky Saints hit a big boot onto Jevon. And I guess his finisher is not the Rochambeau anymore. He's got his new finisher is the Revolution DDT, which, by the way, Ricky Saints has a top 5 DDT in all of professional wrestling. This is like I would not want to be on the receiving end of that. So Ricky hits the Revolution DDT, and Jevon kicks out at 2. And then he goes for it again on Seth, and Seth counters by throwing him super kick, curb stomp, 1, 2. Austin Theory he pulls the ref out of the ring, and Theory gets clocked by Montez Ford. So they're brawling in the stance. And then from behind, Seth Rollins gets speared in half by Braun Breaker. Ricky Saints is slowly crawling over. I got this win. I'm going to pin Seth Rollins. But Jevon runs over to the top rope, and he gives Ricky the OG cutter and an upset. A big upset in the King of the Ring tournament. Jevon Evans. Yes, you heard me right. Jevon Evans is going to the semifinals of the King of the Ring tournament. And I have a lot to say about this. We have talked so much, myself, the entire IWC, that WWE is playing it way too safe with their booking. Triple H is way too safe of a booker. He doesn't take any risks at all. He's just safe, borderline. The top guy in the match is going to win. And if it's the safe, predictable, boring route, Triple H is going to take that 10 out of 10. But the fact that we had Dom Mysterio win his Fatal 4-Way on SmackDown. We had Jevon Evans win this Fatal 4-Way tonight. I love that. And I think as we move forward, WWE needs to take more risks with their booking. And they have a lot of young talent. And if they want to test that if these guys are the future, why not put them in big situations? Keep doing it. So I think this is good. That we have guys like Dominic Mysterio, we have guys like Jevon Evans shining in this tournament. That's great. I do love that. My question coming out of this is, who's winning this tournament. Because I thought it was a shoo-in that Seth Rollins was going to win this tournament. And that we were going to get Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. And he even teased it by holding up the 1 at the end of Raw last week. The winner could maybe challenge Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam. I don't know. I highly doubt it. I think whoever wins is probably wrestling Roman at SummerSlam. So, I don't think Dominic is winning. I don't think Jevon Evans is winning. I would fucking puke if Jey Uso won the Fatal 4-Way on SmackDown. I would be devastated. I would have to go on a rant. That would be really, really, really bad. Okay? That would be really bad. Royce Keys, could I see it? Maybe. I doubt it, though. I think LA Knight's gonna win I think LA Knight's gonna win on SmackDown. So, Jevon Evans is not winning, and Dominic Mysterio is not winning. That leaves Obafemi and LA Knight. And Obafemi, we all know that third match with Brock Lesnar is coming. At some point, Obafemi is going to have a third match with Brock Lesnar because he's brought it up again tonight that they're 1-1 apiece. Oba won 1 at WrestleMania. Brock won at Clash in Italy. We know they're going to have another match. I don't think Brock Lesnar's retiring at SummerSlam anymore. Because this LA Knight bloodline stuff, it's just not intriguing to me. We've seen it before. We've seen this story before. What's going to happen this time? LA Knight's going to lose clean. And I love LA Knight. But they've given me no reason to believe that going into a match against Roman Reigns at SummerSlam, that LA Knight would stand a chance of winning. We know damn well he ain't coming out of that match as the World Heavyweight Champion. And the way they've booked LA Knight and they've used LA Knight in the past, it just doesn't make me believe that LA Knight versus Roman Reigns is a SummerSlam main event worthy match. So, Obafemi has to win this tournament. That's what it comes down to. Obafemi has to win this tournament. Brock Lesnar can wait. That retirement match with Brock Lesnar, we're going to have to put that on pause. Because Obafemi has to win. At this point, Obafemi should clearly win the tournament. And Obafemi should be the guy to go challenge Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. And not only should he challenge Roman Reigns, he should probably beat Roman Reigns. And if he doesn't beat Roman Reigns, what the fuck are we doing? What are we doing? And a lot of people throwing out LA Knight, Royce Keys, Jey Uso versus... Oh my God, don't even get me started on that. I don't even want to think of that possibility. Let's just have LA Knight or Royce Keys win the 4-way on Friday, and then we'll talk. But I think it's clear Obafemi should win this tournament. So, all right, that is your Monday Night Raw review for you guys. Long podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I will see you guys in the next podcast. Subscribe to the channel. Comment down below your thoughts on tonight's episode of Monday Night Raw. Hit the like button if you like what you heard from me. Follow me on Twitter and TikTok, Conlin_Joseph. And I will see you guys on the next show. So have a good night. Stay safe. And as always, stay classy. And I'm out. Peace.